Welcome back to the Morning Blend. Check this out. This new machine is called a Paramobile. It allows people with mobility challenges to stand up and play activities such as golf, fishing, and archery. But it's not just those sporting activities. There are a lot of other things people are using them for too. And the great thing about this is that people in our area can now use it for free thanks to one local business. Karen Ellenbecker is the president of Ellenbecker Investment Group. She founded the Wisconsin chapter of the Stand Up and Play Foundation. And Jeff Stroud is the group's executive director. We also have Andy Meyer here too. He was paralyzed in Bosnia while on a mission trip, and he is here to share not just his story but also demonstrate what this device can do. Thank you so much to all of you for being here to tell us more about this device as well as your foundation. We appreciate it. Andy, I'm going to start with you. You're a familiar face to today's TMJ4 viewers, I think, because your story has been shared with our audience.
Right. Mike Jacobs was good enough to come over and bring the story all the way back from Bosnia to the folks in Wisconsin, and I always have him to thank for doing that. It was quite a blessing. I also have to thank the supporters that helped me. I'm kind of like a turtle that's been on a fence post out in the country. You can be sure of one thing, that turtle didn't get up there by himself. And so I'm the same way. I've had so many supporters. I have to thank my Heavenly Father, first of all, but I also have to thank my wife, Elizabeth, who's been my constant supporter, my co-workers, Mike Jacobs, and then people like Karen and her group are helping people who are paralyzed, and that's where I got hurt, in Bosnia.
Yeah, and I wanted to tell your story a little bit. A lot of people are going to be familiar with your name as well as the story, but for people who aren't aware of it, you went to Bosnia on a mission trip, right?
Yeah,
and what year was that?
It was a pilgrim, 2007.
Okay.
So it's been 7 years now since the injury. We were just an hour out of Sarajevo. We were traveling up the mountain to Medjugorje, which is a blessed place. It's where the Blessed Virgin has appeared to 6 visionaries since 1981. Okay. So it's a great place, and I wanted to take a family. We had 40 other people from Wisconsin on the bus as well. And as we were heading up the mountain, I could see a semi coming down, and he was going too fast. He put his brakes on, he started fishtailing. I could see it, and my 4-year-old son was across the aisle, and it's a dad's parents' duty. I mean, you just think, you don't even think about it. And I went over to get on top of him and push him down, and that's the last thing I remember.
And he survived the accident.
He survived. We all did. And thanks be to God. I mean, we all did.
Were other people injured as well as you?
Some had various injuries. My wife had a big black eye. I mean, various injuries that, but everybody survived, and that was the key.
That was a blessing. How has your injury? What is your injury, and how has it affected your daily life?
Well, it's really not a bed of roses, but I've made the best of it, and God has healed me so much that I'm a T4 paraplegic. I do have some mobility. I have no feeling.
Okay.
So those were the challenges.
Because I saw you walk in with 2 canes,
I have 2 canes, right.
Okay, okay. So you don't have feeling, but you have some mobility.
It's some mobility, right. I can drive a car, do all that kind of stuff.
Okay.
And I can play golf.
Yeah, okay. So let's talk about, and we want to talk to you too, Karen and Jeff. You guys are so patient, but I wanted to make sure we share Andy's story. Talk about this machine and what it allows you to do that you couldn't do before. What's unique about it?
What happened is I was watching Arnold Palmer's Bay Hill Classic in Orlando, and a feeling came over me, darn it, I want to play golf again. And so I typed in paraplegic golfer, and up came this device, and I said, that's the one I want. So I called the 800 number. It was on a Saturday, thinking I was just going to get the voicemail. Well, somebody answers it. And they go, hello. I go, hi, is this the paragolfer? He goes, yes, it is. I said, well, can I ask you some questions about it? Do you have one in Wisconsin?
Was he on the golf course?
He was on the golf course.
I figured you were whispering for a reason.
It was Anthony Netto, the developer of this.
Okay.
He goes, excuse me, I'm here at the Bay Hill Classic talking to Arnold Palmer. He's from South Africa. He says, you'll have to excuse me. I said, you are not. I said, yes, I am, sir. I said, can you prove it? He goes, just a moment. So he goes back, he gets his cameras out, and he stands up.
Okay, we're doing it right now. That's incredible.
He stands up, takes a selfie with him and Arnold Palmer, and emails it to me. I go, I guess you're legitimate.
I guess you're legit. Right. That's incredible what that can do. So that allows you to be in a very much upright position standing, which obviously in a wheelchair you wouldn't be able to do that.
No, and the effects of it help so much with your circulation. To be able to stand and be able to talk to people eye to eye. It was developed for golf, but it is so many other things. I love doing chores around the house. I do some weed whacking, you know, I can just move it around. I can shoot basketball with my son. I can do skeet. I can do archery. I mean, there's really, the standing up is very therapeutic, is what I want to get across. It's an incredible feeling, especially when you've been in a chair.
Yeah, I can't
You were talking
imagine.
about sitting down all the time. Well, this is how I work off my calories, you know?
Right.
The cheese.
The cheese, because we live in Wisconsin after all. One of the things that I found incredible when you first came over to the yellow couch here, Andy, is the turning radius of that. If you, it looks like you're putting on some sort of strap device.
I want to just show people that I do have a strap here on my knees.
Okay.
And I have one around my belt. And then this one is, you cannot fall out of this device at all.
Okay, because it looks scary at first when you go to put it in the upright
the first
position.
time you go up, especially if you haven't been standing for years and years and years. Plus this takes me from a 36 waist to a 26.
So there's that benefit too, right?
Benefit as well. But I think we didn't bring any golf clubs in today.
Okay.
Here, I'm just going to get down here.
But yeah, you can kind of demonstrate the fact that you could do a golf swing. Okay, that's actually the cane that you walk with.
So
okay.
I use this as part of my putter too. So, but you can get a full turn, as you saw in the video, and you go right up onto the green. It doesn't damage any golf courses. I haven't met any professional that hasn't accepted. I've been up to Kohler, Black Wolf Run, Silver Spring, you name any course. I explain it. They look at the video that you showed, and absolutely.
That is so great that they welcome you at courses. We ran out of time for this segment, but I'm going to ask all three of you to stick around because we want to know about how people can get more information to use it themselves, because I know you want volunteers to help with it. Yes. I know you want to make sure that the machines that you have here locally are being used by people. We're going to talk about your vision for the future. Daily use. So if the three of you would stick around, we'll get back. And I also want to see that turning radius when we come back, so stay with us. We'll be back right after the break with more on the Stand Up and Play Foundation. Also ahead, cooking with kale and why it's so good for us. We'll be right back. Here we go. Welcome back, everybody. We are here with Karen Ellenbecker of the Ellenbecker Investment Group, along with Andy Meyer. He was injured in Bosnia when the bus he was riding in went over a cliff. He's agreed to demonstrate the new Stand Up and Play Paramobile that we saw in the last segment, and Jeff Stroud is here too. He is with the Stand Up and Play Foundation. He's the executive director. Andy's just showing off what it can do because I asked him if he would do a full turn. So can you go ahead and demonstrate that, Andy?
Sure. One of the greatest things recently was with the World Cup, I can stand up and go, go!
Because it's not the same if you're sitting down,
no, it's
right?
Not at all. But it does have a zero radius.
That is amazing. Well, look at that. That's okay. We're good.
And it won't tip.
And you
cannot tip it.
No, I've been on several different 15, 20-degree inclines, and you cannot tip this device at all.
That's amazing.
And it has a gyroscope inside which will not allow you to. The wheels will come around and make sure that you don't.
Okay.
So you're always stable.
Karen, why did you get involved in bringing the Paramobile and the Stand Up and Play Foundation to Wisconsin?
Well, I was golfing one day and at a course that Andy and I both belong to, and I saw this white little thing scooting around the golf course, and I thought, what is that? And I saw it 2 more times, and on the third time, Andy was on the green next to where I was, and I walked up and I said, I'm Karen Ellenbecker. What is that? And it
is
looked
she a
so
good golfer, Andy?
Terrific.
Really?
Yeah,
it looked sexy and it looked great, and I said, what is that? And he demonstrated it, and I took pictures of it, and he said, Karen, the first time I stood up and I looked my wife in the eyes, he got all emotional, and I'm sitting there thinking, oh my God, what a gift. And literally several times during the night, and the third time I woke up and I heard this whisper. You know, I always say that intuition is the whisper before the scream, and I heard this whisper that I had a foundation and I should do this. And so I purchased them, 3 of them, through my foundation, and it's just been the most marvelous experience because everybody should have this opportunity. And when I ordered them, and I called Anthony Netto, and I said, Anthony, I want to order these Paramobiles. he came out to show us, to demonstrate how to do it. And he said, make sure you have your paraplegic there. And I said, I don't have a paraplegic.
I need one.
He said, why would you order these if you don't have someone? And I said, doesn't everyone do that? He said, no, all the other chapters have ordered them for a person, a user. And so we are the only chapter, the Wisconsin chapter, that we have 3 of them. There's another one that was just purchased in Green Bay, and they're all for use, free of charge, for anyone. And
so you can use it for the day to do household chores in the yard. You could use it for a day of golf. You could go fishing. What are some of the other activities that people are doing?
I like to go out and walk with their family down bicycle trails or through the woods. It's an all-terrain vehicle. So you think about it, and any level of disability, you can use this. We have people, amputees, because it's so stable, Molly, that anybody can use it who has a disability.
We're looking at video. There's another sporting activity, but we saw one gentleman just stand up in it and hug his wife who was on rollerblades. But I'm thinking, what about dads who want to walk their daughter down the aisle? Now they'd be able to stand and do that, right?
Jane took it to the zoo, and she said it was the first time that she had been able to look over in 22 years over at the animals. And when she did the parade in Elm Grove, it was so funny because she said, Karen, I don't have any shoes on, and is that okay? And she said, my feet are pink. The circulation
is back.
Back.
Of course, and you mentioned how it's good for blood flow and that mobility and the breaking the sitting.
And to dance with the Milwaukee Bucks cheerleaders. 'Cause I'm happy.
You got a great personality as a model here. And
now you know why.
Now you know
met
why.
him. Here's the story. He was just, and I thought, everyone should have this opportunity to experience this joy of standing up when you never thought that you could. And Andy said, I didn't first of all think I'd walk. And then he said, and then to be able to stand up and to do things
to be able to do something that you thought you'd never be able to do again, Molly, is really, to go to another level of independence is amazing.
Huge. And Jeff, what's your vision for the future of Stand Up and Play?
Well, it's really about getting more users and eventually more devices so that we can have this in use really every day of the week.
And you actually, because I saw in the parade where someone was using the device, and right behind it was a big trailer, a big Stand Up and Play trailer. So what I'm wondering is, do you bring it to people?
We do. We have 2 trailers. We'll soon have 3 devices. And as Karen mentioned, there's also going to be one in Green Bay now. So we have a trained volunteer like myself. We go out to the individual, make sure they're trained and familiar with the device.
And how to use it.
It's about a 2-hour training period so that they can use it safely. And then away we go.
That's so great.
And eventually, once they're trained, we'll give them a certificate so that they can use it by themselves.
And I know Andy wants to teach other people to play golf and how to use it doing that, which I think is wonderful. It was so nice to have all of you here. Great to get an update on how you're doing too, Andy. And I'm so excited for you to have that, to be able to stand and do some of the weed whacking that you're getting done around the house. I bet you have a long honey-do list at your house.
And you know, Molly, the other area that we're really looking for is to get corporate sponsorship. One of the things that when Jeff was working with Jane for the first time, he called me, my son was with Jeff, and he said, Mom, you always tell us that a gift isn't a gift till it's given away. But when I saw Jane's face when she stood up for the first time, it was so powerful. And I started to think about families that would purchase one of these, and they would be the volunteers on it. So Jeff could call up and say, Molly Faye's dad or somebody wants to use it, and do you have your volunteers? And they could be your family. It could be, I always like to say, Harley Davidson. They have hog groups. Each one would have one of these vehicles, and their members would be the volunteers on it. So I think there's so many possibilities to actually see your gift in action.
I think so too, and just seeing this happen with Andy's been fantastic. Thank you all so much. Here's the information so that you can have the Paramobile brought to your house, or find out more how someone that you love can use it. The number is 262-695-8414. You can visit their website to find out more too. It is standupandplay.org. Thanks again, everybody. Appreciate it. Still